Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football Live, and Chelsea have parted ways with Pochettino, effectively sacked Mauricio Pochettino. You can tell the Premier League season is over and we're heading into silly season with Chelsea again, aren't we? I mean, look, I'm absolutely stunned by this. I thought the De Zerbi, well, we mentioned De Zerbi in a minute in relation to replacements for Pochettino. But what are your thoughts about this, Chelsea fans? What are your thoughts about this, football fans? I mean, this to me is the dark side of football. You know, I don't like VAR. I don't like the extra time that's added on. I don't like all the injuries. I don't like the domination of Manchester City. But I do not like this. I do. I'm not even a bloody Chelsea fan and it pisses me off. It's just like, it's like bloody, they're being, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I did do a video when Chelsea got Pochettino last summer. It's on the channel. And I said, this won't go well. He won't win you the title, but what I think he will do is provide stability. He's the guy before the guy. He will get you in the top four, and then you won't win the title, and then you'll get rid of him. But they've decided to get rid of him before that. I just, that football club baffles the shit out of me, Chelsea. Like, Potter got next to no time. Tuchel they got rid of, and then Pochettino gets 1 year with £1 billion that he didn't spend. An injury crisis that would destroy most people's season. He actually gets them back on the straight and narrow, gets them playing good football as a young team, and they sack him. And it's absolutely insane to me. It really is. And look, I'm not a big Pochettino fan. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. I think the hype does precede him. But I think he's a good manager. And I think next season, Chelsea would have got better. Probably got themselves in the fight for fourth, which in fairness, Arsenal and Man City and potentially Liverpool are a long way ahead of Chelsea. So fourth place next season would have been quite good for them. But I don't agree with Ben who says that Pochettino chose to leave. I think that's the story that will go that way. But at the end of the day, that's not how football works. You know, De Zerbi Brighton didn't want to keep De Zerbi and Chelsea didn't want to keep Pochettino. It's been known for a long time. I mean, look, this has been going on for ages. Pochettino, I would imagine, probably wanted to get out, but Chelsea have been wanting to get rid of him for ages. Look, I've been ignoring it, but trust me, it's been out there for ages that Chelsea were looking to get rid of him. I never understood why in the last few weeks, but they have been looking to get rid of him. I don't understand it. So this is the breaking news. I'll read what Fabrizio said, but Matt Lord's spoken about it. Loads of people spoke about it. Mauricio Pochettino and Chelsea part ways with immediate effect. Chelsea and Pochettino have already agreed on the terms, as reports. Chelsea want to consider a young manager as priority to replace Pochettino. I've heard this from a couple of clubs as well. I don't get this ageism. You know, Ancelotti's touching 70. Mauricio Pochettino's 52. What's all this young manager shit? I think this is the new spin bollocks that fans get fed to try and make them feel better. Young manager. What's the upset? Name me a good young manager that's worked in high-end football. Nagelsmann didn't work at Bayern Munich. I mean, young man. What are they on about, young man? Why do you want your young manager so you can sack him before he's 40? Like, Chelsea and long-termism go together like Tottenham and trophies. It's just it's not going to work. That is not going to work. What about Xabi Alonso? Well, Xabi Alonso's doing a good job in Leverkusen, but we're talking about Chelsea Football Club here. What I don't get is why Ange isn't young. Pep's not young. Klopp's not young. Like, 52 is still relatively young for a manager. Like, what's the obsession with somebody under 40? It's like them. Have you been on TikTok and everybody's selling you those fans that are back in fashion? You know, oh look, buy this for $250. It's amazing. It's like, what's the obsession with a young manager? Frank Lampard, yeah, go and get him, Tim. Yeah. Look, I don't get this young manager thing. But look, in honesty, it's up to Chelsea fans what they want. But I look at your football club, and if Todd Boehly says he wants a young manager, I'd go and get a 72-year-old. I'd get Roy Hodgson. I'd do the opposite of everything he wants. Because basically, Todd Boehly and Chelsea have got their heart in the right place, but their brain in their arse. Like, virtually everything they've done has gone wrong. Everything they've touched has gone wrong. Managers, players, it's a mess. And it's more expense for Chelsea, isn't it? Because there must be some severance there. There must be. Who knows what's next? You're probably going to sell Conor Gallagher as well. As a Chelsea fan who hated Poch before, this is generally the worst decision the new ownership have made. The process restarted all over again. I think that's a great point from Dom as well. We'll talk about who might be coming in because there's so many names being linked. But Kieran McKenna needs to avoid this job like the plague. They're talking about Kieran McKenna. Don't be Graham Potter. Like, McKenna is just Potter. Some fans will like it, some won't. He'll be inexperienced. He'll take his time and people will go, we're Chelsea, we don't want that. Thomas Tuchel coming back is the worst thing. It's like popping on Facebook and seeing someone you used to go out with 20 years ago and you slide in the DMs and that's a mistake. Pochettino was the steady hands. They've just sacked him. De Zerbi, look, I don't think they know what they're doing at Chelsea because you've sacked 3 managers in 2 years. You're basically sending a message to your fans that we can do anything at any point. Like, we can sack somebody at any point. There is no... if I was a Chelsea fan, I wouldn't even know what's going to happen next season. Like, if you lose 2 games in a row, they might sack him. Like, there is... I mean, this is the sort of stuff we used to take the piss out of Watford for. When a manager just... I mean, it's ridiculous. It's poor leadership. And clearly... whatever's happened with Pochettino, whatever happened with Tuchel, there is a bad way of running that football club at Chelsea that leads to a toxic environment and a lack of trust between the manager and the board. I just hope Chelsea can find some stability amongst this madness because it really is. I'm shocked. I really didn't think. I think I was on the Goldbridge Saves Football Pack podcast a few weeks ago and I said to Will, I wouldn't sack Ten Hag, I wouldn't sack Eddie Howe, and I wouldn't sack Pochettino because I think all 3 of them have had horrific seasons due to injuries and instability above them. And I think they're all capable of having a better season next season when they can be judged properly. Pochettino actually finished the season well, really well, and they've got rid of him because they're not happy. And look, I know Pochettino wasn't happy, but trust me on this one. Chelsea were looking to get rid of him. They never said to Pochettino, you're the guy. So Pochettino has had his say in this. He wants to go, but Chelsea never backed him in the last few weeks and said, you're the guy we want. They kept it open. They kept looking at things. And basically, the way Chelsea operate at the moment is... Arsenal want to buy Mudryk. Yeah, we'll have him. We'll have him. Oh, they're looking to buy that player. We'll have him. We'll have him. Oh, Liverpool are getting a new manager. Yeah, we want one. It's like they are like the spoilt brats of the English Premier League. Like, if somebody's doing something, fuck what they've got, we want it as well. That's how it comes across. I am a firm believer, as I'm sure many of you are, that when you look at what Arsenal have done with Arteta, when they resisted the Arteta out movement and stuck with a plan that didn't work for 2.5 years, but now does work, and you look at Sir Alex Ferguson all those years ago, and you look at what Liverpool did with Jurgen Klopp, the successful teams in recent Premier League history and past are the teams that stick with a plan and a vision and don't keep shifting away. Well, Chelsea only brought Pochettino in a year ago. Their own appointment a year ago, and they've swerved away from that because they want another shiny toy. I find it incredible. I find it absolutely incredible. But look, Pochettino is gone. Chelsea are just spoilt. Sack him. He got them sick. They just feel like they're entitled to Champions League football. Europa first season isn't bad considering circumstances, says Nathan Allen. What the hell is Bowley doing? Lampard back, says NAU. Poch, De Zerbi, Eric Ten Hag, manager merry-go-round. Why don't you have a go, says Az. Shameful from Chelsea. Please get Amorim or Tuchel back, says John Wick. We're going to talk about who could be coming in next. Dom says, as a Chelsea... I've done that one from Dom. Thank you very much. Get Clear Lake Capital and Todd Bowley out of my club, says Rub. Give it a week and we could have United and Poch ships passing in the night again, says Nick P. Well, I'm on United stand at 8 o'clock. I won't be a hypocrite. I don't want Pochettino anywhere near Man United. I mean, if they get him, I'll back him, but I can't be a hypocrite on this. I'm not a Chelsea fan, and I said a year ago, he won't be the guy long term. He won't be the guy long term. And he didn't even last a year. So I don't want him at Manchester United. Chelsea fans and as a club don't have patience for a young manager, says Alec. I think a young manager is the worst thing possible for Chelsea, actually. You're right. The young coach craze hasn't worked in other sports. No shot it works in football, says William. Gary O'Neill to Chelsea if they want young, says Mark Langbridge. Not surprised if Will still takes over, says Helmy. Chelsea, we've done that one. It's Will TB, thank you. McKenna to Chelsea on. I can't speak. Love the show, says Akshay. And HSK says, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm shocked beyond belief at the decision and genuinely terrified for the future for my club. Look, if you're a Chelsea fan, let's move on to what's going to happen next. If you're a Chelsea fan, you will be outraged, shocked, frustrated, happy for a short period of time. And then Chelsea, with a big, massive fanfare, will bring a new manager in and everything will be really exciting again. Because that's football. It's the Watford approach. You sack somebody, people are shocked, and then you bring someone else in and go, this is going to be great. But the problem is, the evidence under your current ownership is that it's not going to be great. And, you know, even if you get excited about the next manager, if you've ever watched Return of the Jedi, when Luke Skywalker is stood in front of Jabba the Hutt and C-3PO, you stood on a trap. You stood on a trap. And everyone's going, shut up, shut up. You just press the button. Down you go. That's basically being a Chelsea manager now. There's your press conference, but there's a trapdoor underneath you that we can whack at any time. So I just think it's... Look, where do I think they're going to go next? There are a few possibilities. They could go for Amorim from Sporting Lisbon, but they wanted a lot of money when Liverpool were talking to them. They could go for Thomas Tuchel, which he would love that job. Absolutely love that job. I don't know whether that's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to go back for Chelsea, but it's up to them. I don't think you should go back. And also, let's not forget, these are the people that fell out with him in the first place. It's the same ownership that fell out with him in the first place. So that would be even weird. It genuinely is a relationship that's fallen apart, and then you're going to get back together. What about all the problems you had before? So Tuchel doesn't make sense, but it could happen. De Zerbi could be the guy because the timeline works. De Zerbi is Brighton manager. On Thursday night, something happens. And then by Tuesday, Pochettino's gone. So it could be De Zerbi. I can't imagine it being McKenna. And if I was McKenna, I'd go to Brighton over Chelsea anyway. Or I'd stay at Ipswich. There are other names being mentioned, but I genuinely... Look, that Chelsea will definitely have an eye on somebody. That's how it works. And look, there's reports from Germany that Tuchel feels that his mission at Chelsea isn't done. The only thing I would say about all this is it's very insincere and it's very treacherous, I would use, right? Thomas Tuchel has got unfinished business at Chelsea. Why? Because he's been sacked by Bayern and Pochettino's left Chelsea. If Chelsea were getting rid of Pochettino and Thomas Tuchel had won the league at Bayern and got to the Champions League final and Bayern Munich loved him, do you think he'd agree? Do you think he'd want the Chelsea job? So you've got to be very careful about, oh, he's coming home, it's Tuchel, he's got unfinished business. He's got unfinished business because he hasn't got a bloody job anymore. If things had gone well at Bayern, would he want to come back to Chelsea? Absolutely not. So, yeah, look, I don't know why I'm getting so stressed about it. I don't even bloody support Chelsea. Jesse Marsh is young and has the American connection, says NAU. I mean, look, the big thing for Chelsea is that they go from Pochettino to something better. Because if they go from Pochettino to something worse. David says Chelsea will finish 10th or lower next season. Look, honestly, you can check the video from a year ago. I said Pochettino will not work at Chelsea long term. I'm not going to claim this was what I thought would happen. I thought he'd try and get them 4th place. It wouldn't work, or it would work and they'd get bored of 4th place and it would be obvious he can't take them to compete with the top teams. He's not even been given the time to do that. It is really, really weird. But I do think Chelsea will be better next season. But if I was a Chelsea fan, I think that this is I suppose this is the line, really. When I look at that Chelsea side, Cole Palmer, etc., good players, But do I think this current Chelsea squad, even with the likes of Nkunku and Lavia back and anybody they sign in the summer, do I think this Chelsea team can get anywhere near Man City or Arsenal? No. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. It's very competitive with the likes of Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle will bounce back, Aston Villa, maybe Man United. It's very competitive there. So I'd put Chelsea somewhere between 3rd and 8th next season. I don't know where. If you'd gone with Pochettino, I'd push you towards 4th. With a new manager, it's another reset. It's another project. So I'm sort of pushing you maybe down to 5th, 6th, 7th because it's another fresh start. A lot of your team will go to the Euros. A lot of your team will not even speak to your new manager until pre-season in July. Then you're off to America. Then you've got new signings. Then the season starts and you've all got to get to know each other again. The amazing thing about this as a football fan looking in is it's another new project for Chelsea. It's another new start. And patience must be wearing thin in the Chelsea fan base based on over £1 billion spent, 3 managers in 2 years. You're going to get impatient because you just want to make some progress. And over the last few weeks, you've finally seen a shape and some progress. I've watched Chelsea a lot this season under Pochettino. And up until the last 2 months, I really couldn't see a shape. And then he's actually got one. There's a bit of progression. They're playing well. They're playing as a unit, and they've thrown it away. So you have to be patient with your new manager. You have to be like, this is a new start. But the mentality of a Chelsea fan will not be like that because you'll go, well, we finished the season well. We want to go into next season and go up a gear with the consistency. But what you're actually doing is hitting ground zero again. It's a reset again. So if your new manager comes in and it is Tuchel, it is De Zerbi, or it is Amorim, you've basically got to go. Probably going to get some bad results at the start. Probably going to be an up and down season. Probably going to be a roller coaster. If we can get 5th place, it'll be a good season for us. Europa League again. That's what you're looking at because this ownership is fucked up again. Never say never. But remember what I said on January the 1st. I did a calendar year dark horse. Who's going to be the team of 2024? And I said Chelsea. And everyone laughed. And then, last 2 months, they've got a bit of momentum. And my expectation was good summer, keep Pochettino, take that momentum into next season. And actually, they'll start the season in mid-table and they'll be about 3rd or 4th by Christmas. Forget that now. That's not happening. Unless you do a Spurs. But, Pochettino's obviously pissed off. But he hasn't walked away from Chelsea without Chelsea pushing him, have they? And I think I would despair at that ownership model. I really, really would. It's too trigger happy. And they push the button. And the problem is, as a Chelsea fan, you never know what's going to happen. What about Mourinho? No, I don't know. It's not for me to say. Nathan Allen says there's only one young manager that's been working, that's Alonso, but he's not going to leave Bayer Leverkusen. McKenna is a bad idea. Fans will eat him up and will ruin him like Potter. One thing's for certain, Chelsea will know who they're going to go for. Managers make more on severance than working, says Parker. And Jack says, I'm already hearing some idiots that United should sack Ten Hag and bring in Poch, which is what they should have done to begin with, says Jack. Well, we'll talk about that on United Stand in a minute, but this is obviously for Chelsea fans and every other fan of football as well. Just having a look if there's anything fresh coming in. I mean, look, who knows what the severance package is? Chelsea mutual consent, but can Pochettino go and take a Premier League job? I mean, I actually am getting quite scared about the Premier League. It's becoming more weird by the year. Like, there used to be a semblance of integrity to it. Look at the officiating. Look at the charges that haven't been brought yet. Look at the bloody minutes we add on compared to the rest of Europe. Look at the injury crisis. And we've now got managers being sacked for next to nothing who then might go and manage another club. And that manager will go to another club. It's like we're almost becoming the NFL in relation to a franchise. Like, this manager's now moving to this club and he's going to this club. And it's weird to me. It's absolutely anti what the lessons of football teaches. That if you want to be successful, you're going to have to be patient and build a structure. And everybody seems to be doing the opposite. And also, nobody seems to value their football clubs anymore. Like, why would you want Pochettino at Manchester United? He's already managed Spurs and Chelsea. Like, that's not, Liverpool wouldn't want Pochettino because he's already managed Spurs and Chelsea. They want somebody that they can be proud of that's a Liverpool manager, that's got no attachment to any other Premier League club. And there's this merry-go-round mentality that's just very NFL to me. Weird. But very weird decision by Chelsea. But not surprising, to be honest with you. Where they're going to go next, I think we'll find out very, very, very quickly. And it will be very, very interesting to see. But I can't say I'm surprised. Nothing surprises me about Chelsea. And of course, a new manager will mean spending more money, won't it? Which you may or may not have. So, yeah, the club is an odd one. It doesn't mean that they won't make the right decision at some point. And look, maybe Chelsea will win the Premier League under their next new manager. But it feels to me that it's not by design, it's by accident. They're going to stumble on a successful outcome because they're certainly not strategizing one, in my opinion. Poch, Kane reunited at Bayern, says Leroy. I now pronounce you Mystic Mark. A bit erratic from Bowley, if you ask me, says Dasbo. What do you say to the fans who say they have standards and Poch didn't meet their standards and therefore got the sack, says Jonathan. I don't know how a Chelsea fan could look at that season and expect anything else. I think anybody with a brain knew that Chelsea were a mess when Pochettino came in and knew that it wouldn't be solved in a season. And then on top of that, he had a massive injury crisis. Like, some of the players he bought, he's never even used. And Nkunku and Lavia are his signings. He's never even used them. How a Chelsea fan can be Poch out based on that season is incredibly naive and impatient to me. Basing just off the second half of the season, Chelsea were 4th. Next season, they'll be back up to 10th. I think Poch had something good, says Hessen. Yeah. Anyway, look, I've got to go and do United Stand at 8 o'clock. If you want to join me on there, we're going to be talking about Pochettino potentially coming to Manchester United. But it's been great to do a live show with you on That's Football. Make sure you smash a like and please do subscribe. We're going to have lots of these types of shows across the summer as we take in other clubs, transfer news and managerial changes as well. And I think I'm doing a Europa League watch-along tomorrow night as well. It is the Europa League tomorrow night, I think, isn't it? I'll see you on United Stand if you want to pop over. You're very welcome, even if you're not a Man United fan, because we will be talking about Poch at the start. Take care, everyone. Speak to you in a bit. Smash a like and subscribe. Chelsea fans, my thoughts are with you. But then maybe you're excited. I don't know. Get in the comments.